Welcome, everybody, to Panfish Nation. Along with Mark, I am Lyle. And Mark, we might ought to have made the topic tonight. How are we going to fish in this cold weather coming up?
No joke, man. We got single digits next week heading this way. We got like 18 inches of snow they're calling for this week, and we didn't get too bad yesterday. Got maybe just like 2 inches of slushy ice. But what were you going to say? I think I know what you were saying.
We got -0, then -4, -3 for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
We still get in the 30s there on the weekend. But
what was you used to tell me all the time about Hades? Because it was hot here all the time. Not next week, buddy. Not next week. But
maybe hell's freezing over because worms were $7 a dozen the other day that I saw.
Oh my God. $7.
Well, that's what made me come up with this idea. I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Oh man. Dennis says -10 up at where he's at. Speaking of Dennis, and I know I get off on this tangent every once in a while, but he was a great guest we had last week. And I got some of his, these dudes are badass. Check that out.
And I'm going to have to order some of them from him, maybe.
Yeah, these black ones.
Uh-huh.
They're really, really loud. I got a bunch of them today. I'm really thrilled with those. Great job on them, Dennis. I can't wait to try them out.
Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely was. What do you say we welcome everybody into chat, Mark?
Absolutely, I'd love to. I see 922 Crappie Barbecue in the house. What's up, buddy? There's Cindy Stokes. How you doing, Cindy? Give Star a pat in the head for me. I'd appreciate it. There's Crappie Day Fish on. He's a channel supporter. There's Chad over at Fields to Water. Greenwell Fishing in the house. What's going on, Mike? Greg Burgess. How you doing, Greg? There's Jeep Fish. Lance McCouga. I saw him fishing this weekend for some of those burbots. Mike Sampson in the house. There's Dennis over at Northeast Missouri Angling. Parker Pursuits in the house. Great job this Monday on Catfish Weekly, Parker. Good job. There's Pontoon Jody in the house. How you doing, Jody? There's John over at Small Water Charters. I see Josh from the Weekend Angler. Somebody else just popped in here. Greg, Jeep. Oh, JG Hill Studios just popped in. There's Mike Sampson. What's up, Sampy? How you doing? I think I got everybody for now. If anybody pops in, we'll shout you out during the show.
Yep, we sure will. If we miss you, don't get mad because sometimes chat goes faster than I can keep up with. Mark does a pretty good job, but I
try. I'm getting old though. That's the problem. Older and older.
There's Buckeye catfishing.
You know, your daughter was telling me just today how gray I looked.
Oh, bless her heart.
And Bugman too. Got to say hello to Bugman. David Smith in the house. They just popped in here. What's up, guys? Buckeye catfishing. How you doing?
We probably got an inch or less of snow yesterday. I know it has nothing to do with fishing. And I hate it when Katie has to drive in bad snow. But that James Dockery was always whining about no ice, no cold weather, no this, no that. Well, he had 17 inches of snow last night, and he still got it coming. He's looking at 5 to 8 inches on the way. You know, and anybody deserves it, it's him. But I do hate it for Katie. But maybe he can get to doing that ice fishing he loves so well.
The snow doesn't help make ice. That's the problem.
I don't care.
All it does is insulate it and keeps it soft. He might go through the ice.
I don't care. As long as it messes with him, I'm okay with it.
You know, I ain't gonna laugh at James because they're telling us we're gonna get 18 inches this weekend. I had plans to go to the boat show on Friday, the big one downtown here at McCormick Place. And if this snow happens, it ain't gonna happen. I looked into the train, taking Metro downtown. It's about a 90-minute trip on the train, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in the snow it'd be slower. Plus, I priced out Uber to get from the metro station downtown over to McCormick Place, which, mind you, is only 4.3 miles. $38, Lyle.
That's about as bad as your boat ramp fees up there.
Oh, don't even get me. That's going to be brought up tonight as one of the topics.
Okay. Yeah. We got small water charters has joined us. Buckeye Catfishing. There was somebody else. Mike Greenwell has got in here on us. Glad to have all you guys in here. It's an honor that you guys have joined us. Hey, there's Troy from Real and Virtual Outdoors. Jeremy from Creole Catfishing.
There's Troy. What's up, Troy? How you doing, bud? I'm guessing he received his rod, huh?
I think so. Yeah. I talked to him a little bit ago. I think he's pleased with it. I hope so. That's my goal with all of them. But sometimes, and I've told this before, if I build them for people and they tell me they like them, a lot of times I'm pretty particular before I'll send one out. It has to be this certain way before I'll let it go. And if I built them like I like them, nobody'd want them. So I build them like other people want them, so they're happy. And I think, I should have built him a Missouri Tiger one or a Roll Tide one, but I'm just kidding. I couldn't do that to my buddy.
I'm surprised you didn't build Chad a Chicago Cubs one and sent him one.
He'd have had to get a Cardinals one if he got one.
Oh, a Cardinals one.
Honest to God, I did build a couple of Chicago Cub ones along the way, and I owe a guy one for years now. It's went on and on and on, but I keep forgetting about it, and I don't talk to him as much as I used to. But we had a good friend of ours that has now passed away from cancer. When they had a benefit for him, and I built one, and they done an auction, and there was people bidding on it over the phone, and people that was there and bid on it. And I don't remember now what it brought, but it was way more than they could have got one built for. But it was for Calvin Myers, and he succumbed to that cancer later on. But I stood there with him, and I had Ron Workman was on the phone, and Joe Lucky was actually there, and them two went at that thing. When everybody else quit, they was still going. And Ron Workman ended up buying it, and I told Joe then, he said, you got to build me one. And I don't know, that's been several years ago. And I kept telling him I would, and I would. I hate the Cubs so bad. Just couldn't make myself do it. But for Joe Lucky, if anybody ever wanted one, as long as it's been now, if I build another one, it'll go to Joe Lucky for free, because there's not a finer man walking around fishing these tournaments than Joe Lucky and his dad, Jerry Klein, and his brother, Jerry Klein II. Those guys are outstanding people, and I've known them for years. And Joe really wanted that rod and didn't get it. But, it happens like that. It happens like that. But that's not the topic for the night.
It's not. Let's say hello to Dan Thompson. He just popped in here.
What a great guy. I'm glad to have him in here for sure. We do have a great expense in the hobby that we all love. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what kind of fish you fish for. A panfish is something that we all have in common, whether you're catching them to eat or you're catching them for bait or whatever it is. We all like to catch them. If you just go and drive to a place and fish off of the bank or off the shore to catch these things, you're tackling stuff that you have to have that's one thing. But the cost of gas and the vehicles to go for and maintenance and upkeep, a lot of people are like,
insurance.
Yeah, and a lot of people say you can't figure that because you got to buy it anyhow. Well, maybe, but a lot of guys don't have vehicles get 30, 40 miles a gallon. No. And yeah, and I don't imagine that Dodge, even though it is a diesel. It just doesn't set the world on fire on fuel miles.
We can get into that, but it doesn't get the mileage my 2004 Cummins used to get, like 24 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
But then this 2014, some politicians stuck their big fat nose into emissions, and it's like lucky if I get 16 down the highway. It's
right. Yeah. And although we had an EcoBoost, the last truck that we had, and it would get 22, 23 if conditions was just right. And this one we've got now has got 25 once, only once. And it had to be driving it just right, and no wind or the wind behind you. but it'll average in the 22 miles to gallon range if you don't push it, and it won't do that pulling a boat. It only gets about 13, 14. So the cost of going is a lot, and we try to go a lot now. Guys like James Dockery, his wife's got a little Explorer, and that's why he always wanted to fish rods, because they're not bad on fuel, but it's not free.
He's always all over that state. He's traveling to every single little lake or pond or big lake that he can see on the map of Missouri.
He knows where every one of them's at. But guys like me and you that's got a boat, we're going to cut our fuel mileage in half.
Yep.
Pull the boat at the very best. And then if you're using worms, $7 for a dozen. It's kind of pricey. But if you want them, you're going to get them.
Yep.
You want good equipment to fish with. We all do. And my theory has always been on equipment, whether it's rods or reels or whatever it is, buy the best you can afford. And do it that way. But you got to have ways to keep that bait. So it goes on and on and on and on of what you're going to need. And I know you keep live bait at your house.
I do. I even have a couple of flat pieces of limestone on the side of my house that if I need worms in a pinch, I'll lift them up. There's always worms under there. Always. And I'll tell you this year, I ain't paying $7 for
no
crawlers.
Well, I was talking about your bait tank.
Well, the bait tank, I don't buy minnows. Last time I bought minnows, it was 3 dozen for $16.
3 dozen for 16. My God, how do you afford to live up there?
I was trying to ask myself the same question.
Don V Fishing, welcome, buddy.
What's up, Don V? How you doing?
But still, if you got live bait, you got to go catch them. You got to maintain them. You got to give them something to eat once in a while. They'll die. You got to have aeration. It never ends.
It's better bait to put in there.
That's right. But you're going to have some next year. I'll bet you do.
Oh, well, yeah, duh. I just cut corners elsewhere. I was telling Lyle that I had hamburger helper for dinner, try to save a few bucks.
I kind of like it, so
I kind of like it too. I ain't gonna lie, but I guess. All right, some backstory too. In the last 2 days, I've lost a garage door opener that actually caught on fire, a refrigerator in the garage that messed up, a couple other expenses. Marcus Elon Musk fishing, Lyle. Don't I wish?
Yeah, I bet you do.
If I was, I'd have a new boat and a new truck. Oh, wait a minute. Krill says, growing up, we dug our own worms or we didn't go fishing. Yep.
Yeah. Well, you know what? When I was a kid, of course, I'm a little older than Jeremy is. I don't remember them having worms except at bait shops. Walmarts and stuff. Well,
they didn't exist really. Gas stations might have them from time to time back then.
Maybe. But yeah, they just wasn't like they are now. You drive down any road that's on the road to wherever you're going fishing, there'll be someplace you can stop and get bait. Just about.
There's a couple places around here too, a couple of gas stations or something. Yep. All our bait shops are like on the opposite side of wherever I fish. So that's like doubling up my drive time. And Josh knows that. I think they're in a separate zip code, Josh. So that tells you enough.
So who's in a separate zip code?
The bait shops. So I don't know.
Oh, I thought you meant Elon Musk or.
No. Look at this. What does that say right there? What does Parker write on there?
Mark is more like the Ron Jeremy of fishing. I heard.
Jerry Parker.
Where does he come up with this?
I don't know. I'm starting to wonder about him. Well, actually, not starting. It's just getting worse. I'm getting more and more worried about that, man.
Oh,
Jody says red balls, water dogs, and crawdads is what I used growing up.
Jody, one of my favorite baits for channel catfishing above and below riffles was a little white crawfish about that long. You could catch all the channel cat on them you wanted. We had ponds that we would walk out in. It was never was over waist deep, no fish in them, and they was full of crawfish. And you just go in there and catch half 5 gallon bucket of them, and you put them on limb lines or trot lines, whatever we done back in when we was kids, and we fished with them above them ripples, and we'd spend the weekend on the Salt River, which is the lake or the river that now makes up Mark Twain Lake. It wasn't the lake then, but we would go up there and take some Crisco oil and a pan and start a fire and nothing to eat, just some drinks. And we would sit there and catch fish and fry them up, just one right after the other. And we'd do that 2 or 3 weekends a month.
We used to do a lot of stuff like that. There's always, up here in the north, shore lunch is a thing. You go fishing, you pull over midday, you cook what you caught half that day with some potatoes and some, like you said, and some Crisco, and it was right. The way to go.
Absolutely. Two Stands Fishing. Welcome, brother.
What's going on, Two Stands? Also, like, I have fond memories of when we used to go smelt fishing on the lakefront here, of cooking our catch, eating them heads and all after you deep fry them right on the bank of Lake Michigan in the harbors and stuff. That was always a good time. So I guess what I'm starting to think is I'm definitely going back to the way things used to be.
Well, I think that's a great idea, because simpler times, simpler ways of doing things. Sometimes it may not be the easiest, but a lot of times it'll work out better for you.
It's also a lot more fulfilling. Like, when I get out there and I get that refrigerator fixed, it's going to be a heck of a lot more fulfilling knowing it's done and taken care of than spending another $1,500 on a new one.
I do know. I just bought a refrigerator here a while back.
Yeah, exactly. So it's stuff like that. And fishing's no different. Everything from tying your own jigs from stuff you find around the house or you find in the bargain bin over at Hobby Lobby or at the Walmart or whatever. Watch some of Keith's from Fishing and Stuff's, videos. That's basically what his whole channel's about.
Saving money. That's right.
Saving money in hard and rough times. We've all been through them, and we'll get through them, and we'll go through them again. It's usually the way it is. I heard a quote the other day, listening to a podcast where it says, nobody said the world was easy. All that's guaranteed in the world is chaos. There's no peace and quiet.
That's right. I promise you're going to live and you're going to die at some point, and that's
Amen.
That's about all you can expect. Jeremy says fishing may be expensive, but you can make it cost effective. Buying quality gear and maintaining it will save you money in the long run. That's 100% correct. And one of the things that sticks in my mind about that is if you guys ever watch Catfish Weekly for any extended period of time, you know that Doc Lang was on there with me for a while, and Doc has Abu Garcia fishing reels that are over 25 years old. He takes them apart every spring and cleans them, replaces anything that's worn out of them, puts them back together. There's no reason to buy new ones because there's nothing wrong with any reel he's got. I promise you, if it breaks, it gets fixed right away, and there's no reason for it. Now, he'd get different rods, but he's got the same reels, and that's why you buy the best stuff you can afford, so you can take care of things like that.
I got a couple that are probably close to that in age that I had bought used. Not that I've had that long, but I bought used for like between $50 and $60. And I do the same thing. I clean them up, take them apart. If they start making noise, it's easy to get parts for them. Would I buy a brand new Abu Garcia reel for $250 now? I'm not so sure, Lyle, to be honest with you. I think they've kind of crossed the line there as to what I'm willing to pay. So $250 is a lot. That's a lot of money.
Oh, it is. It is. Welcome, Frank. Glad to see you made it in tonight. But if it's going to last you a lifetime and you can give it to your kids and they can give it to their kids, there's a lot of ways to think about that. I am 100% sure that when I'm not able to go fishing, I've got Abu Garcia reels in my garage that my grandkids will use if the kids take care of them so it can get to them. Because if I can't repair them or don't have time or don't want to, I got a guy I can send them to. And when they come back, I tell him I want them to be as good as you can make them. And every once in a while, I have him slip in what they call a super tune, where they put ceramic bearings in them. And, oh, dude, if you ever have one done that way, it's hard to go back.
I got two like that. First time I picked them up and cast them, professional overruns, we'll say. Wasn't expecting what they did, so
I can relate.
But I guess what I'm saying is I have like what I'm thinking 8 Abus right now, which is enough. If I buy any more, they'll be used ones. I'll rebuild them. I'll tune them up like that, and we'll be good to go.
Buck Williams says he has Mitchell's from the 80s still going. My brother, who just passed away here a while back, he has a bunch of Mitchell spinning reels that I would love to get my hands on that are probably 30, 40 years old. Mark never used them hard like I do. He's got ain't no telling how many 600 and 606 Zebcos before he started using bait casters. And the reason he done that was because I was using them. He thought them with 808s and 606s and shit like that. He thought that was the best that money could buy, other than them big spinning reels. He had a J.C. Penney spinning reel that he bought when him and Carolyn first got married, because they fished down below the Clarksville Dam all the time. And that thing would cast from one dam to the next. You know, it just, you could throw the wheels off of it. And I was married. When he bought that, I was probably 10, 12, 13 years old. And after I was married, he's whining up there one day because that reel finally gave up. And I thought, my God, you didn't get but about $8 for it when you bought it in 1973 or 4. And you're crying because it quit in 1990.
I can relate, because you hate to see something that's treated you so well go.
Well, you know, it was like an old friend to him.
Exactly. Well, you're not going to find anything built like that anymore, to be honest.
That's very true. And J.C. Penney didn't build it. Some company made it for them.
Exactly. I mean, and if it works for so long and you got to replace it and you're going to end up replacing it with garbage, I can understand being upset.
Yeah, and that's where he was at. We need to welcome man, it went past me.
Laura the Explorer. What's going on, Laura? How you doing?
Laura and Eric Massey.
What's up, Eric?
Danny
Stone. There he is.
Haven't seen Laura for a while. I hope you're doing well.
I do too. I'm kind of trying to get caught up here.
Let's see if we haven't missed anybody else. But, you know, we're going to miss a few. But yeah, Mark was all whining about that, and I laughed at him about it. But he got a bunch of stuff, and one of these days I'm sure I'll get a call and they'll say, so we're going to do this or that. And I'll be excited to hear about that. But, yeah, that old reel, you can't buy them like that. Now, like I say, ain't no telling who made, probably Penn or somebody made that for them. But it said J.C. Penney's right on it. And he give, $8 or $10 for it. It's a lot of money for a reel back 1971 or 2, whenever it was he bought that. It might have been 69 even. I could have been him. He took me fishing.
I was born in 69, Lyle. Did I tell you that before?
I don't care. And Mark, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
It doesn't, but when has that ever stopped us before?
Never. My brother bought a 1969 Torino 428 Super Cobra jet.
I approve of that Ford.
Dude, I'm telling you what, he would come when he wasn't working on Saturday afternoons and Sunday afternoons. He'd come pick me up, and him and a buddy of his, Bill Shaw, which kept that thing running like it was supposed to. He was working at a Ford dealer. And we go out chasing down them guys in Chevrolets just to piss them off. And it worked so well. And it was a hobby for them too. It was fun to beat the Dodge guys, but it was hilarious to count how far you could beat Chevrolet. I don't know, and that's where I got it. But man, I would sit in the back seat of that car, and I remember just like it was happening yesterday. And that old 428, man, if he was within a car length of them when he went to third gear, it was over. They was his. He owned them, and it was just. It was the baddest thing. In those days, it was the baddest thing around for a long way. Them guys, them 427 Corvettes, he just laughed at them as he outrun them. You know, it was hard to believe that thing was amazing, bad, fast. But he finally understood after I started building race cars and race car motors that you could do more for them than they come out of the factory with. Because he didn't want to do anything to them. He thought that that was the way they're supposed to be. Yeah, Frankie, it was a heavy car. I think it weighed 3,800 pounds, I think. It was real heavy, but he lined the back of it with cement bricks because it wouldn't come off the line. You couldn't get traction with it. Of course, you couldn't buy tires for them in those days either. But you know, that's something else we should talk about another time.
Maybe we can talk afterwards. I got an idea. Northeast Missouri Angler says, hearing Mark was born in 1969. Man, I look good. They're always lying to themselves, Lyle. What's going on with that?
These guys, Mark, I got a grandson that we went to his birthday party. I just got in before the show started. Damien's my oldest grandson. He's 18 today. Now, my youngest son also has a birthday today, and he is 40. There's a lot of people in our chat that are not 40 yet.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, keep going.
Exactly.
That's my full intention. I have no.
You know, the cost of fishing is getting high, but is that going to stop us from fishing? No, probably
it is not. You know, we're going to keep going. A lot of people are not going to travel as far as they once did, and maybe they won't buy 10 new reels this year. But if they need one, they'll go get it, and they'll get what they want because that's where their priorities lie. And I'm no different than anybody else. Now, I got a bunch of Abu Garcias. I got a bunch of nudes in the box that have never been out. I probably never use those, but I do have some that I could use if I chose to. But the reason I don't is when I go, I like my line counter reels. And as long as they keep going and don't give me any trouble, I'll keep oiling them up and take them apart and cleaning them. And, you know, I keep spare paws, which I haven't broke one in. I don't remember the last one I broke. I keep those and a few things on hand in case but I just don't do anything with them. And Mark, I got these 6 from a guy that used them twice. He used them on the Great Lakes up there fishing. I think he told me for salmon. And I couldn't afford them at the time really. And I sold some of my collection to get those. And it was the smartest thing I ever did. I had some old stuff that people wanted, and I got rid of those, but I love them 6,500 line counters. They are my favorite of all times.
Actually, line counters were next on my list to purchase. I think they're going to have to wait, to be honest with you. So we'll see what happens. If I can come across some used ones or something, then I might pull the trigger. So Twisted Fishing TV. Frank says, it'll stop me from buying extra doodads. That's
sure. Yeah. I got that.
What's going on, SK? How you doing, bud? SK,
Robert. Hey, SK. Glad to see you in here. If you guys haven't checked SK out, Wednesday nights is at 9:00 Central, I believe.
It is. He'll be on tonight, 9:00.
He'll be on tonight.
Yep.
They'll be talking about catching crappie and bluegill and live scopes and all kinds of stuff. You can go over and get educated really well on some things you're not going to hear probably anywhere else.
Stan comes up with a valid point here. It says fishing is as expensive as you want it to be. Got me a new Ozark Trail spinning combo today on clearance for $13. Heck, that'll work for what you use it for.
I didn't know they started the clearance stuff yet because last year, if you remember, Mark, I got a bunch of deals on tackle bags and little short fishing rods and stuff. They was running them out at the Walmart here we got, and there was 2 or 3 guys who worked back there that when I walked back there, they'd say, "Hey, we've got this and this going to come up for sale tomorrow." They knew a day in advance, and they would tell me, and that was really cool because I got some of them $50 tackle bags. One of them was $14.
Yeah, they're plenty big too. You'll be able to fit all sorts of stuff in them.
Oh yeah, sure did, absolutely did. So hopefully they do that again. Makes for great Christmas gifts for the kids. As it turned out, we give the kids something else, and they're still sitting here this year, but they're not going to go bad, you know.
Cheap Fish says, let the kids pay for college themselves. Just a few more rods and rails.
Well, that makes perfect sense to me.
Send them to trade school. They'd be better off anyways.
I agree 100% on that. I've been saying that for years. So
Stan says his youngest child turns 30 this year.
His youngest child turns 30?
Yep. God bless you.
He's going to catch me if he's not real careful. Hey, you guys, I know we kind of been off subject and all over the place tonight, but if you like the content and what we do here, go ahead and hit that thumbs up for us. We'd sure appreciate it. Makes YouTube think that we're doing something right.
Studio says, I think maintenance is a key to not having big expenses. Reels, boats, motors, trailers, trucks, garage door openers, refrigerators. Oh, wait.
I agree 100%. I sure do. David Smith said he got the same tackle bag for $11. What a deal. What a deal.
Well, I got a tackle bag that I used forever from Cabela's. I think I paid like the same thing, like $11 for it.
Yeah,
served me well.
But here's a great comment right there. Skip at Clearview Outdoors. He's got several videos, but he has a video and a link on converting a 6500 to a line counter version, and it's very good video. And if you'll look at Clearview Outdoors and look at his YouTube channel, he has a lot of maintenance videos on how to care for your reels. And they're very well done. And Skip does a great job explaining what he uses to take care of them. And that way you'll know the type of grease, the kind of oil, this and that stuff that to use on them. So check him out. And welcome, Art Jr. We are glad to see you in chat tonight.
What's going on, Art, my man? I'm going to have to check out that part again because you replaced a whole cover on the side. I got a few extra ones that I can do that too. Last time I checked on them last year, I couldn't find those parts. So be warned. Hopefully they're out there and they're in stock again somewhere else.
Well, the last time I looked, I was going to get 1 or 2, and they was in stock. And something happened, and I forgot to order them or didn't order them or whatever, and never did get them. But, you know, it is what it is. But I have several of the silver C3s that I could convert over.
Those are the ones that I'm talking about, yeah.
Mine are well used, but they work perfectly, and that would be okay with me.
Those Avos are the 1911s. Made in a good country, and you can always find parts for them, so they'll last you forever.
That's right, Stan. It is amazing what a cup of coffee will do, or a cold drink for them, you know, on a hot summer day. All right. I'm going to attempt this, Mark.
Hold on a second. Benoit Fishing Outdoors, how you doing? I just saw Live Scope here. I'm interested to see what Dennis has to say about this.
Oh, okay.
You want to read that one for me, Lyle?
While expensive, Live Scope has saved me tons of money. Really? Probably paid for itself in not spider rigging anymore and went to single pole fishing, not to mention the savings on lost jigs and plastics. Wow.
I never spider rigged, and Live Scope has costed me a ton of money. But I did some wheeling and dealing, so don't think I actually spent all that money on that. I didn't. Lyle's been listening to me want Live Scope for 3 years. I finally got around to getting it this year.
I'm glad, and I know that you're enjoying it, but there is a learning curve with that, right?
Yeah, first year down, so we'll see what happens next year.
I'm going to make an attempt at this. You said it a while ago, but I can't remember. I watched a couple of videos, in fact, and I went Benoit Fishing Outdoors. I hope that's right.
Benoit Benoit.
She'll let us know.
Okay, I apologize.
They went through a
Benoit.
what do you call them? Culvert, big culvert to fish.
Oh, I got excited. I thought you said Culver's for a minute.
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was thinking cheese curds. Okay. Culvert. Gotcha.
Enjoyed that video very much. So go check out their YouTube channel. It was very well done. And I watched another video where they was catching catfish. Enjoyed them both. So if you get a chance, Benoit. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Thank you. And I didn't mean to butcher it. I just wasn't sure. And thank you for letting me know. But yeah, the videos are great. You'll like them. Very well done, and they have some fun catching fish.
I'll post their link right here in the chat.
Now, if I can remember how to say that, the next time I bring them up, that'll be something, because I usually don't, but hopefully I will.
I'll remind you, Lyle.
No, JG, no chicken. No chicken. We had a conversation at my grandson's birthday party dinner tonight. Guy was ordering chicken fajitas. And lady said, the same for you? I said, no. They don't even make good catfish bait. I want the beef. She had no idea what I was talking about.
They didn't have shrimp fajitas?
What's that?
They didn't have shrimp fajitas?
They probably do, but the beefs are so good I can't stop. But I really didn't. I haven't felt like eating anything spicy. French. Yeah, I knew it was French. And roll the tongue.
No comment.
Yeah.
Jeep Fish says, shh. My wife believed making my own jigs in plastic would save you money. Yeah, this is true. I won't tell her.
It would save you money if you didn't do them like I do and have 9 million of them. And you know what? It doesn't. When somebody calls and wants some, you never have the ones they want to. You just never do. That's right. Filet. That's correct.
Sacole. Right?
That's what Jeremy says. And he would know.
Mark Barnum says, snowflake fishing is piling up here in the corn patch the next 2 days, and they are coming fresh frozen. I don't know what that means.
I don't either. I do not either.
So we cover, so what do we cover so far, Lyle?
That it costs a lot of money to go fishing.
It sure does, doesn't it? I guess we should have came up with some ideas on how to save money besides digging up your own
dig up your own fishing worms. I think tying your own stuff, if you didn't have to buy all the stuff, would save you. But you can't buy stuff really to tie up one or two. When you buy stuff to tie up jigs or flies, you usually end up getting enough stuff to tie several hundred of them. And do you need that many? Maybe.
Lyle. Stop projecting your habits onto other people. I'm sure there's people in chat that can tie 10 jigs up and be fine with it.
I cannot.
This we know. I understand. It says the guy who's got like a box of 1,000 jigs ready to paint in the garage. So
yeah, I can't tell you how many I've got tied. And on top of that, I've got half that many plastics.
I got a surplus. So why am I bitching about the cost of fishing? I just got to start using some of that stuff.
I got one laying here, and I forgot why I even put it here, that the paint beat off of it. Here it is. It's been here for a month or two, and you can see that the paint's all beat off of it. It's supposed to be green, but there's no paint hardly left on it. Now, the reason it is laying here, I do remember actually. The reason it's laying here, hear how loud it was? The reason it's laying here is because I'm working on a way, and I got an idea from Eric Massey. I'm going to start what do you call that stuff you heat up? God dang it. Anyhow, I'm going to put stuff on him, coat them, and then hit them with UV resin.
UV resin?
UV resin to see if that will make this color stay fast longer.
That stuff is hard as nails, Lyle. I doubted anything
Well,
was going to happen to him.
I put Sally Hansen's, I put clear lacquer thinner paint on it. I've done all kinds of that stuff, and all that helps. But where I've been fishing is in the rocks on a small river. I would call it a creek, but it's already named a river, so I ain't got no say in it. And then jigs bounce off the bottom because that's where the fish are, and that's where I'm going to put them. And it seems to me that this one, with nearly all the paint gone off of it, catches just as many fish as it did when it had full color. So
I don't doubt that one bit, which is why I got 3 sheets of eyes in the garage that haven't made it to a single jig yet, Lyle.
I got a stack of them. And I bought them thinking I was going to put them on. When somebody orders stuff from me, I don't have time to put eyes on. I don't think the fish care if it's got eyes or not. I really don't. And I'll catch as many with them without eyes as most people will with eyes. I'm not saying it doesn't make a difference in some instances. Where I'm at, it doesn't make any. And I'm in crystal clear water out here right now. But we got some rain the last few days, but we haven't had, for all fall. And it just doesn't make any difference. There's Paul Boyd. Welcome, Paul. But, maybe it does, maybe it don't. To me, I'm not worried about it. And the people that I send jigs to, they're not complaining. So I guess they're catching all they want. But eyes are like a lot of other things that has to do with our sport, Mark.
Uh-huh.
If you convince, or the guy likes them, if he thinks they're pretty with eyes, then you better be putting eyes on them for that guy.
You just charge them extra for it and use that money to buy more fishing gear, plain and simple. Did I say that out loud? First name of the show is Panfish Nation, granted. And pan fishing has to be the most economical, or I don't want to say the cheapest, but the least of an investment you need to make in order to do that.
That's right.
Catfish is probably second if you go about it the easy way. You can get way out of hand with it. Don't let it fool you. But if you go out and get yourself like a Walmart combo, some J hooks and I don't know, some bread balls, even dig up some worms, whatever it takes, you're gonna catch you some channel cats. That being said, I guess what we need to do, meaning you and I, Lyle, we just need to use a little restraint.
I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't either. SK's asking, are you baking your heads? It helps them from chipping.
Yeah.
I think Lyle's buying them already painted.
I'm through them, almost all of them.
You're through them 5,000 you ordered? Okay. All right, did I let that slip?
I've almost gone through all of them. I got some of the bigger ones left, but the little ones are all gone.
Yeah, I've been baking mine, SK. Eric actually gave me a good test to see how chip resistant they are, which is pretty much throw a few of them, 5 to 10 of them in a coffee cup and jiggle them around for a while and see if they chip or not. And mine have held up pretty good. Now, that being said, colors that have like the disco flake in them or something, they don't take really well to baking them in a toaster oven or a regular oven. So
I have a toaster oven right out there when I powder coat them. Dennis says that tabletop's epoxy that he uses is extremely durable and glass clear. He throws those spooks on the concrete, and I actually seen him do that in the video. And they were just like brand new when he picked them up. So you can get 8 ounces for $9, and it lasts forever doing jigs. So that's a great idea. I watched a guy here a while back, Mark, do some diamond coat. I've never tried that, but he was dipping them and hanging them and letting that diamond coat run off of them. And he was doing some amazing things to try to destroy the finish on them. And in his video, they was good when he was done. So
sounds expensive.
anything that has diamond on it is expensive.
I'll have to check that out. I'm interested in that. So
yeah. But I use a toaster oven and bake mine. I have a mold and all the stuff to make 1/32 ounce, and I've got tons. Well, I don't have tons of lead. I don't have as much as James got, but I got quite a bit of lead. I could melt up, and it would go forever making jigs. But I actually save that for the most part for catfish sinkers because I do never want to run out of singers for catfish. Because if you ever bought one, you know what I'm talking about. Lead is one of the worst expenses in our sport, but I can buy them and I don't have to make them. And the guy will ship them to me next day or day after. He lives over here in Bolivar, and he does amazing stuff. Very reasonable, quick turnaround time. So he's a really cool dude. And I can't think of his name right now, but for whatever reason, it's just I have times when I can't remember people's names, but I bought a lot of jigs from him, and they're all perfect. So, and Eric knows who I'm talking about. He gets some stuff from him.
I get all my stuff from Brad.
Brad Caudell?
Yeah, Brad Caudell. He does good work, and I don't go through that many sinkers. I have a habit of using lighter. Well, whatever. We don't have that much trash to get hooked on. Josh says can't spell diamond without an M. He also can't spell Mark without an M. Coincidence?
The another thing is you can get, if you're dragging sinkers, you need to get them from
another place. Yeah, I got a box of them. Thank goodness that I was able to have a bunch of them sent to me, and hopefully I won't run out anytime soon.
Northeast Missouri Anglers, who I was thinking about, because I got a bunch of his and they work really, really well.
Yeah.
And they don't hang up very, very much. They really don't. But he has got an outlet, and I don't remember what the guy's name is again, that sent us some jig heads, and we give them away on our show, if you remember last year.
Mm-hmm.
That was really nice hand ties. Really nice hand ties. And I know he uses them up there. Dennis uses a lot of that guy's stuff, and the thumper jigs, I believe is what the name of them is. And beautiful, beautiful stuff. And he sells a lot. Dennis, I don't know if he just uses them and promotes them. If he's pro sap for, I don't know what the deal is. Doesn't make any difference. They're good quality stuff. Dennis says they're good. That's all I need to hear. That's it. That does it for me. Fishhead Videos, welcome.
What's going on, Fishhead? How you doing? Fishhead says, I used to play golf. Now I fish and boat. Expense is a relative term. Expensive. Yes, it is.
That's so true. There's Mark Barnum. Welcome, Mark.
Yeah.
Fishing is cheaper than going to McDonald's for lunch.
Yeah, sometimes
there may be some truth to that. Wow.
Is this where we can start blaming somebody for all these expenses, Lyle?
Joe Biden.
Thank you. Pritzker. Josh, you get a kick out of that one.
You knew better than.
Maybe I knew exactly what I was doing because I wanted you to say it this week instead of me.
Maybe so. We just got a message through Messenger from a guy we're going to have on our show in the next couple of weeks. We're going to set up a date with him. He's going to message me tomorrow. You guys remember Fish Smack? Trey has a new video out. It's a short. I watched it today. He is really cool about walking up and down the banks when he's fishing, and he cleans up trash after the people that can't
Don't spoil it for him. Let him watch it, Lyle.
And you really need to check this week's video out. It's a short, it won't take you very long, and it's extremely entertaining. That's right. Let's go.
Trey's a good dude. Oh, and I'm going to tell you this in front of all these people. You can't have him for a guest till at least I get back from vacation, because I want to be here when you have him on. He's a good friend of mine.
Oh yeah, he's a super
Love
guy.
to chat with him.
Absolutely.
Super dude.
Yep. When and you're going to leave when?
I'll be here next week. The week after that, I will be gone.
Okay. Yeah. I told him after this show, and just let me know. So we'll either have him next week or in 3 weeks. That makes sense.
Yes, you are absolutely right, Josh.
I could make a comment about that, but who wants to hear about Dick Durbin?
Well, he's not doing well. He's kind of taking a step back. So,
well, he needs to. Well, he's run his mouth for years.
Mm-hmm.
I can see Chad sitting in his chair. He's tearing that handle up right now.
No, I don't do that to you anymore.
No, but Chad's still doing it. Oh my! Oh man! There he is.
There he is. What's going on, Dan? I want to make sure we said hello to Dan. He's a great channel supporter. What's going on, Dan? How you doing?
Super nice guy.
Chad's still here. That's a good deal. So now let's talk about the dreaded B word, boats. Let's do that. I looked at my boat. All right, they changed absolutely nothing on my boat from last year until to this year. Lund will do that every now and then, and I'm not bad mouthing them. It's right. The cost of doing business, I guess. Their prices for their materials go up just like our costs for regular goods and services, whatever it is. But a reflection of that is nothing's changed. I priced out my boat, and it went up like almost $18,000 in 1 year.
18,000?
18,000, Lyle.
Holy crap!
That's not talking about what I got for my deal. I'm talking about what mine was MSRP versus what I priced one out with all the exact same options. That's ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely. And oh man, I know the stockholders and they have obligations to meet, but they don't have to make all their profit for the year off of one guy's boat.
No kidding.
You know what I mean? And basically, if you raise $18,000, I guarantee you the people that work for them companies don't give that kind of raises to their employees.
Nope.
I mean,
not at all.
That's just silly. But if you can afford a new boat and you want a new boat, everybody should have a new boat.
I agree. Not that I could have afforded. I just kind of jumped on the deal when I could because I saw.
Well, if it's a deal, it's only a deal if it's a deal. The Solo Texas Adventures, welcome, buddy.
Hey,
awesome. The thing that I look at is we talked about buying a new boat. You got them payments for how many every year it takes, just like buying a car, Some
of them are worse.
Some of them are a lot worse, yeah. The thing is, there's nothing wrong with the one I got. I like it really well. I've modified it to do what I want it to do. Now, if you buy a new one, and you know as well as I do, you got to make changes. You got to add this and add that, and you got to make it yours, which is fine because you're planning on keeping that forever. Yep. And that was the same way when I bought this boat I got now. But if it comes to where you're spending more money on it than you can make payments for, it's time to think about doing something. And that's not come up with me. The things that I have done to my boat in the last few years are maintenance things that need to be done, like that floor where I had to pull the flooring up and put all of the foam back in the bottom of it where it was all water soaked. My God, what a mess that was. And I'm not a kid anymore, so it took me forever to get it done, but it had to be done because of the weight it added to the boat. And now that it's done, the boat is ready to roll. the old motor in it. It's a 2001. It don't ever give me any trouble. I had to put one gasket in it. I've tuned it up a couple times. I'd go out, put it in the water, and it'll fire right up, and I could take right off tonight if I wanted to. But no, it's too cold, and I'm not going.
You need a snowmobile tonight, Lyle.
Yeah, I ain't gonna do that. But that's kind of like ice fishing. I ain't gonna do that.
That we know.
But you know, if you got one like I got, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on it, and you like it, why make it?
Well, you saw the boat that I had, and it served me well. I have no bad things to say about that old boat, except that it was too small, and I definitely, outgrew the boat, even though I lost some weight since I got that boat. But that's another story.
You know what?
You know what I mean.
There's nothing that will replace room on a boat.
Yep.
And you upgraded this year and got what you want. Chad D upgraded this year.
Mm-hmm.
Got a great boat for pretty reasonable price, I think. They got a lot of room, and you got a lot of room. You both got bigger motors. You can go further, faster. It costs maybe a touch more to go, but you're able to, especially Chad, he's able to go places where he couldn't get before.
Uh-huh.
And you can go and get to them places faster. So it weighs out. What is it that you want? Now, when Cindy and I was getting them boats given to us to use all the time, that was awesome. And that Alumacraft, I should have bought that boat. I really should have. That's the best boat. Even though that Monster Cat was a custom boat, it wasn't half the boat that Alumacraft was. It just wasn't. That was a great boat. I loved it. And it didn't have a 300 E-Tech on it. It had the 250 SHO. It didn't quite run as fast as that Monster Cat, but
it ran fast enough, though, right?
Yeah, it did go fast enough.
You want to go fast, start racing cars again.
Yeah, it didn't. And, we didn't. It got to the point where I didn't try to race everybody and take off in them tournaments. I used to, and I wanted to be first. But there comes a point for even me that it's not as important as it once was. But I'd still do it if I had one that would do it. Just because I can. But yeah, here's a cost-saving thing, and we talked about this before. It doesn't matter if you got a 40-horse Mercury or Johnson, or you got a 250-horse Evinrude or Honda or Suzuki. If you will throttle them back, get up on plane and cut them back to 3,500, 4,000 or a little over, you will save half in the amount of fuel you'll burn. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
You don't get there quite as fast, but let's face it, them fish will be there when you get there.
They'll be there when you get there. Leave a half hour early from home and you'll be good to go.
That's what that state patrol told me that day that he stopped me going duck hunting. He said, I see you go up and down here all the time. He said, you're not always in this truck. You got a little Ford Ranger too. I said, yeah, I do, a gray one. He said, I see you all the time. I run your license plates a whole bunch of times. He said, you was just over the limit of what I could allow today. He said, I'm not going to give you a ticket. He said, but don't make me call your family and tell them to come pick up what's left of you and that dog in the back of there because you run off the road and killed yourself on the way to go duck hunting. He said, them ducks will be there when you get there. And I never forgot that, but I didn't really slow down that much. But,
yeah, I don't like paying for tickets. I quit doing that when I was
he was a pretty cool guy. I mean, I was running late that day, and I was probably running over 100, but them ducks might not have been there. But I was late anyhow after he stopped me, so it didn't matter.
Two Stands Fishing says, look what happened when D got a new boat. Chad actually started catching fish.
And he has.
He sure has.
He touched places that he couldn't get to before.
Wait, what? What'd you say?
He can go to places he couldn't get to before.
I thought you said touched.
He's touched. Shouldn't talk about your brother like that.
I didn't talk about him. I just caught you saying that. Had nothing to do with it.
Fast enough, even a thing. No, not really. It's not, Josh. And you know that. You got a big motor on one, too.
I ain't gonna lie. When my boat's topped out, I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna burn half this tank of fuel. It'll go a little faster then.
Yeah. I I love to go fast, and I don't do it much as I used to, but it's just hard to run the speed limit on anything. And there's something about a motor wound up tight enough it's singing a tune to you. There's something about that I just love. I can't help it. Hey, there's downtown Ernie Brown.
What's up, little bud? How you doing, Ernie?
Hope you're feeling well, you and Chrissy. I know Chrissy was in here earlier, and I hope you guys are feeling well. It's great to see you in chat tonight.
I'm trying to think if we missed anything. I think we bitched and complained about the cost of fishing enough for an hour.
I think we have too. Here, Stan says Stan 3 has caught more 50 and 60-pound catfish than anyone he knows. And the biggest boat and motor they have used is a 14-foot deep V with a 15-horse motor that Stan pieced together from a motor from Rebel Rivers Outdoors. That's saving money right there. Good job.
Jerry Parker does all right from the bank, I have to say.
Jerry Parker does do all right for the bank.
He does.
He really
He's got to walk 10 miles.
They call him a billy goat for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can go about anywhere. Josh says, Lyle and I were talking today about speed. I know exactly how much top end I lost each time I added another trolling motor there. We did have that conversation today. We really did.
Josh, imagine how much top end you'd gain if you replaced them all with lithiums. Just saying.
That's true. There is another thing that we talk about. It equates to fuel economy as much as speed. Even a 250 horse motor on a boat is small motor. It's a small engine. And the thing that hurts them worse than anything is weight.
Uh-huh.
So any weight savings that you can do will help you get better fuel mileage and if it's performing better and the motor runs easier, it's going to get better fuel mileage. That's kind of the way it works. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you can run one at half throttle or so, 2/3 throttle, you'll be amazed. That 300 E-Tech, I'm not kidding you, Mark. When that thing was running wide open, it would run just shy of 70 miles an hour, and you could watch the gas gauge go down.
Yep.
It would suck it. But if you'd run it about half throttle, it'd run about 45, depending on conditions. And it'd sit there and just purr right along and never use gas, never used hardly any oil at all. And that's most of the time, unless we was in a tournament, that's where it was run most of the time for a year and a half.
You'll find that sweet spot. You'll learn after a while.
You will if you drive it at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you already know where yours is at.
Mine's right at 38 miles an hour. I'm a happy man right there.
Heck yeah. Yep. That's how it works.
But I gotta say, when I put that hammer down at 38 miles an hour and it sits me back into that seat, I'm a happy camper.
Oh yeah.
A smile to my face.
It makes you feel good. There's something about the thrill of being towed back,
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. I do miss those days, but actually, to be quite honest, Mark, I just as soon have that $25 in my hip pocket.
Yeah, no kidding. That'll get you down the road a little closer to another fishing spot. That's the way I've been looking.
It's another fishing trip for me.
Josh gives me a lot of grief about not leaving my zip code, but I told him this last week. For the most part, in order for me to make it down, like whether it's to fish with you or him, if it's for a couple of days, hotel room, fuel and stuff, I'm looking at between $500 and $600.
Yeah, and that adds up. We used to figure
adds up. You got to have it to add up. That's the problem.
Well, that's it. We'd take off and go to those big tournaments. Say we was going to one on Wheeler Lake, or we was going one out east or somewhere. $1,500, $2,000 every trip. And if you don't hit a lick once in a while, it hurts. It stings.
And now entry fees are through the roof, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
right?
That entry fee going up like as a fig Newton of a moron's head. They should have never got to them points. They think they want the big payouts like the bass guy does. Catfishing is never, ever going to be the size of bass tournaments. It's not. And there is a handful of people that can afford them entry fees. And the other boys, well, they're not going to be in them because you can only spend what you got.
Well, they could change catfishing in general. There could be a lot more smaller local tournaments that come to fruition in the next year or two. So if you're looking to start a tournament or something, now's the time to do it. Have a fishing derby on your local lake or whatever and have fun and get a lot of people out there. See if you can't get some sponsors, give away some rods and stuff. Why the heck not?
It's the guys that have the most fun are the ones that half a dozen or a dozen of them get together and they throw their money in a fruit jar, and the guy that got the biggest weight when they come in, he takes the whole fruit jar full of money. That was the most fun tournament you can have.
We've done that here on the Fox a few times. You get a call and we're like, "You out fishing?" Yeah. He says, "Well, I got 8 guys here together, $50 a head, and
let's go.
Let's
giddy up." That's right.
It's my kind of tournament fishing. Those last minute deals. That's what I like to do.
There's Matt from Want to Be Outdoors. I'll tell you something else, Mark, that people overlook when they're fishing. If they're tournament fishing, it'll apply to catfish. It'll apply to panfish. It'll apply to any of them. There's a lot of overlooked fishing spots around the dock you launch at. I promise you. I promise. Maybe not the winning fish. But a lot of times those fish will get you the money.
But if the ramp isn't busy, before I even bring my boat down that ramp, I walk right over and take a look to see what's on there. There's been a bunch of times where the boat's waited an hour while I've caught crappie right at the dock. I ain't gonna lie. Yep. That happens a lot. People
come in, they've already caught their fish. They're not going to take them home and eat them. They'll dump them out right there. Some of them go right back to where they got caught. They all don't. And if there's bait fish around there, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter if it's a catfish or a bluegill or crappie. If there's something for them to eat, they are going to be there.
They'll find their way there. Concrete grows algae. Algae brings in the minnows. Minnows bring in the bigger fish.
That's right.
Textbook tactics, like I always say, Lyle.
That's a great topic right there. That's a great topic.
I think we might have a topic for next week. What do you say?
We'll see if we can get Trey in here first.
All right, sounds good.
Because Trey be a blast. Speaking of a blast, it's 10 after 8, Mark, and I have had a blast tonight. And we still got almost 50 people in here, so they must have kept them entertained. Whether they learned anything or not, we don't know. But
hopefully we entertain them. That's not the kind of show this is. We try to teach you guys stuff and show you stuff and maybe talk about food in between, but we like to have fun. So hopefully
we haven't done that. And I got scolded a couple times because we're always talking about food. We get off topic. We get off topic every week. Wow. People got to understand that's going to happen.
This is our show to have fun with, though, Lyle, isn't it?
We do have fun with it. I enjoy it so much. I'm thrilled that you're able to do these shows with me, and we have a good time. We'll do some more giveaways one of these days. We got some stuff coming up. We'll put that together, and I know you got your vacation coming up. So
I'll tell you what. When I get back from vacation, I'll make sure to have some jigs all ready to give away. We'll do a couple of giveaways.
I probably got some. I have to look them up. I'm not sure where I put them.
Well, I was going to give away from me for you to them.
Oh, I got some too. We'll just make a package deal.
Benoit says fishing is all, or fun is all that matters. That's why we fish, because fishing is fun.
Yep. If you got a hobby to do, doesn't matter how expensive it is, within reason, you'll spend the money to do it if you enjoy it. That's where I'm at with fishing. When I race cars, I've done that, and that was very expensive. A lot more than fishing is. When I shot trap, it wasn't any more expensive than that, but it was the competition that I was after, and it was immense and fierce, and I loved it.
When I shoot trap, it's usually a turkey or a meat shoot. I'm shooting for food.
I like that too. But great show tonight, my friend. I appreciate you being in here. We had a great time. Hope people enjoyed what we done. We'll be back next Monday night, and Chad and Brian
and Freddie
will be on tomorrow night.
And Stan's got his show on Friday night too, folks. Make sure you stop by Two Stan's Fish and check it out.
And I've been popping in on his Sunday mornings every once in a while. Don't forget he's over there on Sundays. And we had Stan 3 on Catfish Weekly here a couple of weeks ago. What a great guy.
Great young man.
He does wonderful things in the sport. Monday night, Catfish Weekly will be on. Let me check something right quick. Corey Jeffries is our guest. I thought it was him, but I wanted to make sure. We're going to talk about
that big fish he caught down there in Louisiana.
Louisiana would have been a state record. They couldn't get anybody down there to weigh it in.
I think there might be some heated conversation on Monday. I'm looking forward to it.
Well,
because I'd be pretty upset if the DNR couldn't get out and certify a
I made that statement too, Mark. If I had that job and somebody called me and said, "Hey, I've got a state record. Could you come down there?" It's your duty to get off your ass and get down there and check that out.
Mm-hmm.
That's just plain and simple. And we'll go over that with Corey, and we'll have a great show with that.
All it does is promote the sport and guarantee that you keep a job being a DNR officer. But
it drags people in for tourists because they want to try to catch that fish because that fish was released. So it's still swimming. And there's probably some more just like it down there.
You know, my buddy Jonathan over at Hooked Catfish, I think he caught like 100+ blue cats and some flathead while he was fishing down there too last week. Crazy. I think I need to go visit Creole pretty soon. That'll only cost me like $1,200 in fuel.
Pocket feed for you though.
Oh, stop it. Don't be a Josh. I'm not even talking about the whiskey I got to bring down there.
You go by there, you go down to see Creole, you better stop by and say hello.
Absolutely. You're coming with me. I'm picking you up.
I'd be fine. We'll do that too.
Lyle, thanks for having me. I always have fun.
Absolutely. Great show. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.